My section chief took all the credit while we did all the work. For 8 months, Master Sergeant Garrett Holbrook had been coasting on our intelligence analysis while collecting awards and praise from the battalion commander. Every briefing, every report, every tactical assessment, we did the research, he slapped his name on it and presented it like he'd spent sleepless nights piecing together enemy movements. I'm Specialist Vaughn, intelligence analyst at a forward operating base in eastern Afghanistan. My team, Brendan, Curtis, and Wyatt, we were good at our jobs. Really good. We'd identified 3 major insurgent networks, predicted 4 attacks before they happened, and mapped supply routes that led to the seizure of 2 weapons caches. Holbrook's signature was on every report that went up the chain. Outstanding work, Master Sergeant, the colonel would say after each briefing. Holbrook would nod humbly, like he'd personally intercepted enemy radio traffic while dodging mortars. Meanwhile, we'd be in the back of the room, invisible. The breaking point came when Holbrook got nominated for a Bronze Star for exceptional intelligence gathering and analysis that directly saved American lives. I read the citation and felt my jaw clenching so hard my teeth hurt. Brendan had spent 72 hours straight tracking a high-value target's communications. Curtis had cross-referenced 3 years of patrol reports to identify the pattern. I built the entire presentation that convinced the colonel to greenlight the raid. Holbrook had literally been on leave when we did the work. We should say something, Wyatt muttered, reading over my shoulder. But what could we say? Holbrook was a 15-year veteran with connections. We were junior enlisted analysts who'd get crushed for going against an NCOIC. Then came the CENTCOM briefing. A 2-star general was visiting to assess our intelligence operations. Holbrook was scheduled to present our latest analysis, a comprehensive breakdown of Taliban command structure in our sector. It was our masterpiece. 6 weeks of work. Reed from the day shift had even helped us build a 3D terrain model with enemy positions marked in red. The night before the briefing, Holbrook pulled me aside. His cologne was too strong, always was. Vaughn, make sure that presentation is loaded on my laptop by 0600, and I'll need you guys in the back in case I need technical support. Technical support. Like we were IT guys, not the people who'd written every single word of his slides. The morning of the briefing, I arrived early. The smell of burnt coffee filled the operations center. I loaded the presentation onto Holbrook's laptop, and then something made me stop. Maybe it was exhaustion. Maybe it was 8 months of rage. I opened the file properties and checked the revision history. Every slide showed created by SPC Vaughn and the edit timestamps from our late night work sessions. I took screenshots. Then I had an idea that made my hands shake. Not from fear, but from the possibility of finally getting justice. I created a second version of the presentation. Identical slides, but I embedded the revision history into a final acknowledgements page. Every analyst's name, every hour we'd worked, every source we'd consulted. Then I saved both versions with nearly identical file names. Taliban Command Analysis Final and Taliban Command Analysis Final. I loaded the version without acknowledgements onto his laptop, but I kept the other version ready on the shared drive. The briefing started at 0900. The general sat in the front row, flanked by his staff. Holbrook stood at the podium, chest puffed out, looking like he'd personally infiltrated enemy camps. He clicked through our slides, explaining his analysis and his methodology. I sat in the back, my heart pounding against my ribs. Curtis gave me a questioning look. I just waited. Holbrook reached the final slide, ready to end with his standard confident conclusion, but his face went white. There on the screen, in front of a 2-star general and half the battalion staff, was the acknowledgements page. Primary analysis, SPC Vaughn, 347 hours. Supporting analysis, SPC Brendan Reeves, 298 hours. SPC Curtis Wade, 276 hours. Terrain modeling, SGT, Reed Dalton, 89 hours. SIGINT, interpretation, SPC Wyatt. The list went on. Every name, every contribution, every hour. Holbrook stood frozen at the podium, his mouth opening and closing like a fish. Master Sergeant, the general said slowly, is there something you'd like to explain? I'd swapped the files remotely 30 seconds before his last slide. Our network administrator, who'd also been tired of Holbrook's garbage, had helped me set up the remote access. Holbrook tried to stammer an explanation, but the general cut him off. I'll see you in my office immediately after this. Dismissed. The investigation took 3 days. They pulled every report Holbrook had submitted for the past year. Every single one had our names buried in the metadata, while his sat prominently on the title page. The Bronze Star nomination was withdrawn. Holbrook got an Article 15 for fraudulent official statements and lost a rank. But here's the part that still makes me smile. 6 months later, our team got called to Bagram to brief the CENTCOM commander directly. No middleman, no credit-stealing NCOIC, just us and our work. Brendan got promoted to sergeant ahead of schedule. I picked up Sergeant 2 with the general's personal recommendation in my file. Holbrook, last I heard, he's working supply at Fort Polk, counting tent stakes and wondering how 4 junior analysts destroyed his career with a single PowerPoint slide. Turns out metadata doesn't lie, even when people do.